Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with JAYONBOXING here with a personal prediction for Naoya Inoue versus Marlon Tapales. And as always, this is just my take, of course. Your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. And a little bit of fight info here. We have Inoue taking on Tapales. This will be at the ARIAKE Arena in Tokyo, Japan, airing live on ESPN in the United States in the junior featherweight division with the vacant Ring Magazine junior featherweight title, Inoue's WBC and WBO, and Tapales' IBF and WBA junior featherweight titles all on the line. Well, 2023 has given us a damn good fight to end the year with. Definitely can't complain, and credit to these two guys for making it seem so easy to make such an interesting, compelling fight. No long, drawn-out negotiation, no letting it build. They literally won 2 belts, then turn around and said, hey, 4 is better than 2, let's have a unification. Stephen Fulton hadn't even left the damn ring before they were lining this fight up, so kudos to both. Now, with Inoue, you have dynamic movement, the shot selection, the speed, the power. All of it feels special when you watch Inoue fight. With Tapales, while it's not as dynamic, you have resolve, you have heavy-handedness, and the heart to travel to Japan to take on the monster in the first place. So you really have to give him his credit as well. Who takes this end-of-the-year banger and wins this one? That's the big deal. Who wins this fight and becomes undisputed at 122 pounds? Let's break this one down and find out. Starting off with Inoue. For Inoue to win, you want to line up the right hand. Against a southpaw, this is always a good idea. You line that right hand up. It's a shot that is kind of known as a southpaw killer, so certainly it's a shot you want to get going. But again, when you're Inoue in the first place, that right hand's a good shot for you to land because you can do it with such power and it gets to the mark so quickly. Your left hook also works, of course. It's a shot, again, that southpaws can be open for, and it's one that you have and can score with pretty regularly. But it also helps line up the right hand, even if that is your primary weapon. So you can, of course, use that to score, to line them up with it, and it's a shot that you throw pretty well to begin with. This, of course, once you start getting that right hand going, will push Tapales back and allow for you to be more aggressive, more offensive-minded, which is what you're trying to do if you're Inoue to begin with. But I do think it begins by getting that right hand home and doing it consistently. I would also say don't rush your work. I think if you're Inoue, you have to allow things to be set up and allow for them to build a bit more. And this is for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're still relatively new at 122 pounds. There's no reason to go testing your chin, especially against a guy in Tapales who's certainly much more heavy-handed than a Stephen Fulton might be, for example. What's more, Tapales also has good timing. You don't want to give him chances to counter or set you up when you're rushing in or lunging in a bit over that front foot, which at times you can do. Usually you don't pay for it, but again, as you move up, you might. You have power late in fights anyway, so you don't need to rush. Again, build into the fight, break him down a bit more, and then once those rounds progress, you can start really putting it on him and pour on that pressure that might cause the stoppage you might be looking for. And finally, don't neglect the body. Personally, I think you both probably benefit from some body work, but Inoue certainly will, so I think he needs to get it going in this fight. This, of course, allows for you to land, get some scoring going, of course, and then slow him down, keep him from moving out of your range. It can also push him back if you're throwing those hooks that don't allow for him to escape so easily to the sides. Also, of course, this is going to drop his hands, opens up more work for you upstairs, and that's what you're looking to do if you're Inoue. You want to land those damaging power blows. This, of course, will help you score consistently, get more work done upstairs as mentioned, and will allow for you to overall just dictate the kind of real estate of the ring and control a bit more of where Tapales goes. You do, however, have to be mindful of the shots coming back in those countering forms upstairs because, again, the timing of Tapales might be an issue if you're not mindful of it. So, of course, keep that thought in your head, but for the most part, attacking the body will definitely benefit you if you're Inoue. Now, switching over to Tapales, for Tapales to win, you want to look for the uppercut. As I mentioned there, Inoue can rush in at times, can step over that front foot a little bit. Now, he usually has good foot placement, but when he does rush it, it can get a little bit out of whack. It's certainly a shot then, that uppercut is, that can potentially pay off for you if you're Tapales. Not to mention, you have a solid uppercut to begin with, so it's a shot you're going to look to try and get in regardless, especially if Inoue does close that distance and tries to come inside. You can rattle off a few of those uppercuts. It might push him back, make him think twice about coming in, and you can then use that to your advantage. Also, because of that in and out movement that Inoue likes to employ, if you're giving him something to worry about with that uppercut, it kind of limits a lot of that sort of movement he's trying to get in this fight, and of course will allow for you to dictate the terms of the contest much better. So that certainly is a blow, that uppercut is, that you want to get going if you're Tapales. I would also say be patient, be ready. Inoue is quick. He gets off fast, and you really can't try and fight fire with fire. If it's just about you trying to outquick him or having these exchanges, he punches about as hard as you, if not more, with more explosion, and he's faster than you, so he's going to get to the mark a bit more. You're going to have to be patient and wait for those moments to counter and make him pay. Perhaps when he's lunging in, perhaps when his hands are down a bit too often, and when you've kind of got your timing down a bit more. That being said, don't just wait. You have to be ready. You have to be lively. If he overcommits or lunges in, as I mentioned, if he's pulling straight back, you have to capitalize in those moments. It can't just be you looking for one perfect singular shot. You have to be ready to make him pay for the mistakes he might make, and then capitalize that and build into the contest. You have to be patient, but you got to be ready as well. And finally, stay off the straight line. Backing straight up will be trouble against a puncher, especially a quick-handed puncher, an explosive puncher, and one with the reach advantage in this fight. Just not going to benefit you. You have to use angles and have to circle away. That needs to happen. Doesn't need to be something super impressive or dynamic in terms of just how good it looks in the ring. It can be subtle work, simple works, but you have to use movement that he can't predict. Step to the side, then the other. Keep your head moving and don't dip to the same side every single time when you are using that head movement. Don't make it so easy for him to predict and read your next moves and exit. You have to keep him guessing in that way by staying off that straight line. This way, when he then tries to engage and kind of gets a bit ahead of himself, those countering opportunities and that timing we've mentioned can pay off for you. Now, in terms of my pick here, I actually think Tapales has more of a chance than most, but Inoue takes this one in my mind. Too good, too special. I think both will be semi-cautious to start, with Tapales looking to counter and Inoue looking for his openings, again, mindful of perhaps the new power in a new weight division. Eventually, however, Inoue closes the gaps and starts landing with more regularity. The timing of Tapales is solid, but the speed in those exchanges that Inoue presents will pay off for him and ultimately hurt Tapales and drop him in those middle frames. Marlon might be more timid as a result of that, and because of that, Inoue will be able to kind of dictate more of the action and close in and close the show with a big right hand, followed by the barrage that ensues, ultimately halting the contest. Winner, Naoya Inoue via late fight stoppage. Now, in terms of the betting odds for this fight, you have Inoue as a pretty sizable favorite, coming in at a minus 1350, Tapales coming in at a plus 720. Again, different books have different odds, but that's what we're going with here. Ultimately, I don't think you have a great line here with Inoue. Obviously, as confident as I am in this pick, I just think he's obviously 13-1, 13.5-1 to be more specific. You're just not getting good enough odds to even look at that. For Tapales, he is a big enough puncher, and this is only Inoue's second fight at 122 pounds. Maybe a small bet on the long shot at 7-1. Why not? Might be a little fun, keep the fight interesting, but otherwise, moneyline isn't for me. The over-under is where it gets a lot more interesting. It's set at 7.5, with the over coming in at even and the under coming in at a minus 130. Looks like, obviously, the odds makers think this fight can definitely end a bit early, and I understand that logic, again, both being heavy-handed and, this being a potentially explosive fight. However, I do think that because of the timing and the countering of Tapales, Inoue might take a few extra rounds to really get going and start hurting him, and I think the fight could be extended as a result of that. So, in my personal opinion, the over actually seems like a pretty decent line, especially because you're getting even odds. Why not in that case? Medium-sized bet there for me makes a lot of sense. But, in any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 40-13 with 25 exact, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts, your predictions, your bets, so on and so forth. And of course, check out all the social media here. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, and of course, check out JAYONBOXING.com for schedule, results, rankings, betting odds, grades, all that good stuff. And as always, until next time.